Hello and welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 154.
Woo!
Ooh.
1 + 4 = 5. Yeah.
It's a pretty nice number.
Create.
Foe is back.
But was back.
Don't rub it
man.
in.
Now it's majority men again.
So,
I was missing my Futurist Woman podcast before.
So I assume you two have watched Avengers? I haven't.
Yes.
I have.
I have indeed.
I'm going to go watch Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, after this podcast.
I'm
I
hoping to
literally
tomorrow.
just saw it before this podcast.
Did you? Oh
I
my
did.
gosh. What'd you think?
It was good. It's better than Avengers.
Oh, I liked Avengers.
Whoa.
But we won't
Avengers
get
was
into
good.
that.
Avengers was good. But it was the worst Avengers, probably.
Really? Okay, worse
Wasn't
than
Ultron?
Thor. Well, okay, worse Avengers. I was like, worse than Thor: Dark
Of
World.
the three Avengers,
Oh, okay.
it was my least favorite.
You mean 4? four?
Wait,
Yeah, four, yeah.
other four?
Yeah, first
Yeah.
I
one
don't
is...
count Captain America.
No,
No,
first
it's
one.
not Captain America. First one.
And
The
then
first one.
Ultron.
Ultron.
And then
Yes, Ultron.
Infinity
Thanos
War.
clicking.
Oh, those count as one, practically.
Yeah.
Oh, I count as 2 movies.
Okay.
Are you thinking of it
Well,
like
I-
Harry Potter?
I guess if I ranked them all as in that way, then it's
like the
they
last
came out. They got worse as they came out. I guess.
like the last Harry Potter movie.
Really?
They split into two.
I feel like Age of
Yeah.
Ultron was worse than the last 2. I
Hmm.
personally felt.
Am I the only one that likes Ultron?
I don't dislike it, but to me it was the weakest.
Really? I didn't
I
like the
felt it
first one.
was.
I liked
Oh.
Ultron better.
You didn't like the first Avengers? That's a controversial
First one's
statement.
my favorite.
I was gonna say first one's my favorite.
Think because I really like the villain. I really like Ultron as a villain.
Oh, okay. First one will always be that weird. To me, was always like, whoa, it all came together.
Yeah, the first one is it has that, whoa, first time doing this
Yeah.
kind of shit kind of moment.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
like
if
that game a
it's
lot.
mashups, if it's like just pure mashups,
And they're all good.
Civil War, was it?
Civil War is really good. Yeah,
Civil War yeah.
Civil War probably is the best if you're talking like multi-characters.
Civil
or
War is
whatever.
considered Captain America, right? Captain America
It
Civil
is.
War.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
I think
I
it's a tough
certainly
one.
like to. Yeah, I certainly like to see.
They should
I'm
just call
probably
it
one of the-
Avengers Civil War.
I know they
It's
really
at least
should.
my second favorite Avengers movie. It might be my favorite Avengers movie. That's really hard.
It's hard because, like, see, I'm one of the only people on the planet that really was not super impressed with Winter Soldier. Like, a lot of people, that's like their top 3 favorite of all MCU, and for me,
Oh,
it's
wow.
not at all. It's not bad. It's just
I like that
think
one.
I like it. I think what was hard is like the twist they tried to do. Like, this is not really a
Yeah.
spoiler at this point, but like when they killed off Fury, there was no way I was able to emotionally able to react to that because I knew he wasn't dead. So like all of that part was just kind of lost on me. What was another thing that they did that made me go? I forget. But anyway,
whole Hail
the main
Hydra
thing though. Yeah. Anyway, you may say that you didn't like Endgame as much, but that's fine. I'll ignore that. You said Detective Pikachu was good because I want to see it super bad.
Yes, it was good.
Good.
Nice.
I'm so excited
Wasn't
for
pandering. Wasn't. It was
Good.
solid. Yeah.
it. Solid. Okay,
Super
I'm
excited
super
now.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm
The
super
Mr. Mime
excited.
scene is the best scene, I think.
Is it the best scene? Okay. That's
I liked
fine.
it a
That's
lot.
fine. That's
I
fine.
couldn't get enough Mr. Mime.
How long did it take you to like get over the freaky real estate looking Pokemons?
Yeah.
They're not too realistic. They're still stylized enough that it works.
Yeah. Not like Sonic.
Oh god. I mean, so there's one moment in Pokemon where you see like a Pokemon's teeth in a weird way, which I didn't like, kind of like in Sonic.
Teeth, you
But
said?
yeah, like their teeth. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think of Pokemon's having teeth unless they're like specifically like fanged Pokemon or something.
Teeth are
Same,
freaky.
same.
They're just
They're
freaky.
so
They're-
freaky. Oh my gosh, they're so freaky. Did any of you guys see Kubo of the Two Strings?
Oh yeah, I love
that's
it.
a great movie.
Okay, great
Amazing.
movie. Excellent. Stylized, right? Hated the teeth. Anytime.
Whose
In
teeth?
all the
Any
characters,
teeth?
or
I don't remember.
all of their teeth.
I don't remember
They all
teeth
had
that much.
realistic teeth, and it freaked the crap out of me. Like, that's my weird uncanny valley thing is teeth. So I like could not handle it.
It does seem to be like one of the tipping factors.
I think it really is. I think it's because they're usually a little too realistic compared to everything else in the face because they make them too shiny. So like it's like we're used to seeing, picture perfect teeth on TV, and that's how they look because that's not realistic, but it's too real. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
they
even
don't look
though
like
it's
they're supposed to.
Yeah, they don't. Like, it's almost like they need to be like, I almost would prefer if they just did a stupid, 3D bar, Like, that would actually make me feel better.
It's kind of like half of, Johnny Depp characters. When he has, the fake teeth in, like Willy Wonka or Ed Wood or something.
Blah. Teeth. But yes, I think we're gonna try to see it tomorrow. I don't know what the tickets are gonna look like. It's not gonna be as bad as Endgame, but still.
I heard a lot of people
just...
really hated the latest Game of Thrones.
I've heard a lot of hate for that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why because I don't watch, but...
I've been watching it, so I guess I can speak on it. The latest Game of Thrones, basically, the first part of it was like a wrap-up orgy, kind of. Not an actual orgy, but people were hooking up. Right? Just people were kind of hooking up after the fact, or dealing with hookups kind of thing. And then the second half, I don't know. Am I allowed to spoil it? Would you guys care? Does anybody care?
I don't care at all.
Just say it for the audience, I suppose.
Okay, I'm going to spoil the latest episode, not this past Sunday because it hasn't happened yet. Episode 4 of Game of Thrones. So just hold on a second. So, I don't know if you guys know, but... Okay, I'm just going to pretend you guys don't know that much about Game of Thrones. But Daenerys has her 3 dragons. One of her dragons, last season, had died and was resurrected like an ice dragon. So that was taken care of already. The episode beforehand, that dragon died. So, but then another of her dragons, one of her second ones, you didn't know, it got hurt. And so at the beginning of this episode, it's hey, he's okay, he can fly, he's all good. And then literally halfway through where they go and march the army or whatever, that dragon just dies out of the sky. Just gets shot down. Very unceremoniously. You're just okay. So that was super weird. And I think it was just very, anticlimactic. And I think some people were mad because, traveling, people were able to do distances that didn't make any sense, which that's always Game of Thrones. But yeah, that's the main thing to me that was kind of whoa, okay. And yeah, I think otherwise, other than that, one of the biggest secrets is now just suddenly came out of one of the characters, and I'm wondering if people thought it came up too fast. I don't know. It was one person told 2 people and said, don't tell anybody. Then one of those people told another person and said, don't tell anybody. And then now it's spread. So, it's one of those things. I don't know. I think overall this season, a lot of people are just disappointed right and left. The big battle.
It is the last season, right?
It is the last season. I think in general, people are all just disappointed. I will say, the big battle that we were all, warming up to in episode 3, I think, I liked how it ended, but to be honest, there were not as many deaths as were expected, at all.
I heard that.
I would say maybe, a third, maybe even a quarter of the number of main characters that I truly believed were going to die did not, only a quarter amount died in that episode, truly. I thought it was going to be a lot more. And so the amount of people who stay alive, you're oh, I mean, I guess that's good, but I'm confused. So I think for some people it was almost anticlimactic. And then it's just done. This big bad we've all been warming up to, he's now just dead. So on to the next big bad. So, I don't know. I think people are just... It's not...
They were hoping for more or something?
I guess. I'm not even sure what people were expecting, to be honest with you. I don't even know what I was expecting. But I'm fine. It's whatever. I'm kind of glad it's wrapping up, to be honest with you.
Is this the only season not based on any of the books?
No, it's not. Pretty much past season 5 was not based on any of the books, technically. Oh. Yeah. So 6, 7, and this one technically did not have any basis from the books. So they took consultation from George R.R. Martin, who gave them some things about what he planned to do, or also just an ending that he would endorse. Maybe not the ending he's going to do in his books, if he even finishes the books. But we don't know other than that. We'll be curious to see how it goes, because honestly, it's not really setting up for any kind of happy resolution right now. The 2 people that are supposed to be on the same side are kind of butting heads. And the person they're fighting, their common enemy, is proven to be an admirable foe. So, the Game of Thrones continues. I don't know. It's hard because I don't really have a strong opinion. I really, really don't. But people were getting mad. The memes have been great though. The meme game for this season has been on point.
What else did you do, Sarah?
Very little. I haven't played a game. Did I play any games? No, I haven't. I'm going to be trying Borderlands 2 very soon though, because I'm doing it with a stream with some other people actually. So
Nice.
that'll be interesting.
So you haven't played it before?
I have not. I have it. See, that was like super cheap that one time. And you're like, you guys should get it. I haven't played it. But that should be an interesting experience. Otherwise, I've been catching up on Game of Thrones. Did Endgame. That was all last week though, or 2 weeks ago actually. And Fo, you'll find this funny. My brother is super into Star versus the Forces of Evil, so I am almost caught up. We've been.
Need to re-catch up. I haven't watched it in several months. I'm very far behind.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, the story does take quite a few turns. I disagree. Yeah. I prefer Steven Universe. I will give Star this, though. Yeah. Star has a stronger start than Steven Universe did. Steven Universe, like, it feels like a slog. But I do feel like Star has, like, every episode of Steven Universe, even some of the annoying episodes, you can see how it ties into the storyline.
Yes.
There are some episodes in Star where it really just feels like filler.
So the thing I like about Star is I think it's more imaginative, but it frequently goes too far and just becomes like so random, which things don't really come back into play, and it's a little weird.
Yeah, I have to give it this, though. It's probably one of my favorite depictions of the nuances of racism that I've ever seen in a kid's cartoon.
The monsters
way that
and humans.
Yeah, the monsters and mutants. But, like, what's great about it is I feel like whenever they do any kind of child-like racism, they make it very, like, these people look very different.
Yeah.
People A are obviously peaceful, and people B look really scary and done scary things. So that's why people A are scared of people B and are racist. But, like, they do this really great thing where they're like, wait, but we're friends with these other people that also, like, what's a monster? Like, trying to divide that line of, like, what's a monster and what's not. Like, that's one of the main, like, themes of the show, because there are people that Star is friends with that are not considered monsters, but, like, is a floating pony head. And so it's like, is this a monster or not? And it's pretty great how they kind of talk about, like, wait, does this make sense? What's going on? You know, and it's also not like the oppressed side is perfectly perfect either. There's been some, you know, rough things too. It's really, like, I have to say, you know, as far as, like, a children's show, its depictions of racism, especially all the nuances, they do a really good job. So I have to give it that.
Yeah, it's
good.
good.
I need to get into it.
I think you'd probably like it. I think you'd like it. The love square triangle gets a little old after a while. I don't know how far you've gotten.
True.
I don't know how far you've gotten to it.
I got pretty far. I don't remember, like, I can't really say the last main point without, like, spoiling some things.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it's that's the only thing right now that's just, like, feel like I'm hitting my head against a wall right now. Is it's like the two main characters are obviously, like, meant for each other, but they do a good job of making it not happen. Even like right now, like, it's getting aggravating. Which is kind of another funny thing, because you have these two people who are good for each other. And, like, when they're in other relationships, because they're fine people, but, like, they're pretty almost toxic in any other relationship. You're just like,
yeah.
Whew. Like, because, like, they're not bad people that they're with. They're not perfectly evil, but, like, they're not good together, you know? They have, like, that kind of interesting nuance, too, where, like, two decent people could be bad for each other because their interaction's toxic, which is true. That happens sometimes, you know? It takes two to tango. There's not really any perfect people kind of thing. It's just interesting to me. But yeah, so there's been a lot of binge there, and I did finish binging Legend of Korra, so I'm finally caught up on all that mess.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Legend of Korra. To be fair, I got to watch it all at once. I didn't have to, like, wait a week in between for some of those episodes, because that would have been aggravating. But I rather liked it as it was. It's very different than Last Airbender, but
only few things I did like was, like, each season there was a new bad guy, and the bad guy wasn't really given much time to develop and stuff. They had interesting bad guys. I really like the season 1 bad guy.
Season 1
I think
really
was my favorite.
Season 1's the best season.
And
He
then
really
the one with
is,
the team of, like, The ball guy.
Yeah, season 3.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yep, season 3.
But
He's really cool too.
Yeah, but season 1 was my favorite for sure.
Yes, no, absolutely. He was the most interesting, and like he was so rushed at the end. That whole thing was like rushed in one episode of like the resolution of that.
I just don't like Korra. I just know she's just
fair enough, and it's creepy, right?
He's okay season 1, which doesn't get better like Aang does.
I know. I think my main thing with this with Legend of Korra is I felt like they could have had 3, like I'm skipping season 4. It wasn't my least favorite season, but it was a very different kind of antagonist that was not in the same par as the other ones. They had like 3 different Avatar stories they could have told. Like that was the thing. You could have had like 3 different shows with each of those bad guys, I felt like. So smushing them into like with one person in one show to me felt slightly claustrophobic and almost like, okay, poor Korra has been through a lot of trauma, like a ridiculous amount of trauma at this point. So that's my only thing. That was kind of my only real thing with this show, to be honest with you. I liked all the characters fine enough. I was fine with Korra.
I didn't like how they make her lose like the previous Avatar connections.
Yeah, in season 2.
Yeah,
that was a rough call. That was a rough call, right?
I mean, but that's what I mean. Your show do whatever, but still.
Right, but that's what I meant. Like that could have been like its own like last Avatar
like
kind of thing. Yeah, like with one guy where that happens and they have to deal with it. Like to me, that would have been interesting. But having it all packed with like the first guy who takes away bending, with that one where they take away the past lives, and then the third one where they try to like poison her and kill her in the Avatar state. Like that's really extreme. You know, the reason I think with Aang's story it really fit better overall is there was one guy that they were going against along with all the stuff around the world, and it worked.
And the characters were likable.
I actually liked these characters in Korra, but that's always a hard thing to do.
The only one I liked was her eventual girlfriend. What's her name?
Asami?
Yeah, that was the only one I liked. The rock bending guy, Earthbender, was
Bolin.
That was
Bolin?
That
Bolin.
one was also okay. The other guy,
yeah, Bolin
I didn't
is
like.
great. Mako was, oh my gosh, he really like.
He screwed up.
He's so well. It's so funny because you know what he's a funny example of? A male version. Do you guys know the sexy lamppost? Like when it comes to female movie theory.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, okay. For those who don't know, it's the idea of that like how good a female one measure of how well put together like a female character in any kind of like film or movie or show or whatever is if you could replace her with a sexy lamppost, would the story still make sense? So like is she just treated like an object? Does she have any agency? Blah 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 blah. He almost was like a sexy lamppost in a way. Like his only like defining traits were depending on which women he was like dating.
Maybe that's what they were intended to do.
Maybe, because they do lampshade in one of their attempt at an Ember Isles episode that really was not as funny as the Ember Isles episode. Their attempt at that, they do lampshade that, which was pretty funny. Just like how he's like, yeah, I gotta figure out who I am when I'm not dating somebody. It's like, yeah, because you're like not important otherwise. I liked Varric. He was pretty funny. He was the like super like ideas, like he was actually a bad guy in one of the seasons, but then he turned around. He was fun.
I like the airbending family.
Yeah, Tenzin's family.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
they're cute and
I like
funny.
Tenzin a lot.
Yeah, Tenzin's funny.
Voiced by J Simmons.
Oh, J.J. Simmons.
J.J. Simmons.
Oh yeah.
It's voiced by J.J. Simmons, which when I finally.
That.
Yeah, which just made it instantly better because I can see all his facial expressions in my head. So it's pretty funny.
That's like Star vs. the Forces of Evil has what's that weird little tiny bookman?
Oh my gosh, yes. Globgork, that's what he keeps saying at one point. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? We're just
Globgork.
we just saw him. Oh my gosh, I'm going to
find it real quick.
Oh my gosh, no, not Muni. What's his name?
Alan Tudyk.
I'm gonna scream when I figure
Alan
it out.
Tudyk is in Star vs. Evil Forces?
He is.
Yes, he's my favorite character. He plays Ludo.
Oh yeah, he's Ludo. Yeah. He's pretty funny. Oh my
He
gosh,
does the crazy voices so well.
I know. Oh my gosh, why? What?
Oh, Keith David. Oh, it's Keith David as Glossaric.
Glossaric.
Wait, it's Keith David?
So they changed voice actors. There's one voice actor the first few seasons, and then Keith David, he was Commander Anderson, I think. Is that who that? He's like the military guy, right?
In what?
In Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so. He's in a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of video games.
Yeah. Yes. I forget who
Jeffrey
the first
Tambor's who I was thinking of.
He's a great Glasser Egg. I don't know why they switched.
Pudding.
He I love Keith David, but it's weird because I'm used to Yeah, he's great. But it is weird hearing his voice. They're very different. He does a great job, but it is weird because I'm used to hearing him as like a military man, so to hear him in this weird like
he's always like a person of like influence.
I think he's the president in Rick and Morty.
I think he is, yeah. He's always like the military-sounding people, so to hear him sound like, I'm sorry I have to say this, but sound like a magic black man voice, it's really strange. Like, that's what he sounds like.
Rick and Morty, Mr. President, yeah, okay.
I've been given tea.
And he's also reverse giraffe.
Reverse giraffe, apparently.
Sorry, listeners. I was given hot chocolate all of a sudden, so now I'm excited.
That's not tea.
And it's not tea. It's got marshmallows in it. Sorry to interrupt this program.
But yeah, Keith David. I loved him in Saints Row.
Yeah, he was in Saints Row.
He plays himself because it's
a
giant homage to They Live.
He's just, I really like his voice. He's just got that really nice, deep, like expressive voice, like James Earl Jones kind of voice. I love it.
Yeah. He's really good in Cloud Atlas. What else? He's just good in everything. He's so good.
He's really good. He's perfect as Commander Anderson. That's why I can't like unhear him as anything else because his voice is perfectly suited for that like older military man. He's really good. But yeah, no, he's Glouceric, and it's really weird. He does a great job, but it's very strange. They actually do lampshade the voice change because he's like, when he finally starts talking again after that one part, Star goes like, did his voice change? It's pretty funny.
Nice.
But yeah, so yep, Star, I think you would like Star. I think it would be an easy binge show, for you, Shar. And yep, I got through Legend of Korra. I don't know what we're binging through next. But yeah, unfortunately, it comes to games. I've been real bad about that, but that will actually change relatively soon because probably going to be. I actually may be forced to try out Mad World. Not Mad World. Sorry. Monster Hunter. Excuse me. At some point in the future.
The new one,
so
Monster Hunter World.
It's not. I don't think it's going to be the new one, but it's probably going to be. I think it's probably going to be the first one. I don't really know yet.
The new one has some big DLC coming out in September.
Yeah, ice snow thing.
Yes,
it does.
Because
it might split the player base. I don't know how they're going to... I don't know what their plan is to avoid that.
What do you mean by split it?
Like, people who have the DLC can't play with people who don't have it and vice versa.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe.
Because it opens up a whole new area or something, right?
Yeah, that's just a whole bunch of like exclusive to the DLC content.
I see.
Which is cool because it's big, but it potentially is problematic. We'll see. I don't know. I'm thinking of getting back into it. I have such a weird, I don't know. Things I really like and things I really don't like about it.
Monster Hunter seemed to be the kind of game that I didn't know if I don't know how to explain this without sounding weirdly hoity-toity. I don't like, I'm not a huge fan of games where it's like, grinding stuff for the sake of grinding. So for instance, Harvest Moon kind of games or Stardew Valley never fully interested me just because it's like, okay, you bought some, and there's nothing wrong with this. It really scratches an itch, I think, for some people, but it doesn't scratch this for me. Where it's like, okay, you got some seeds, you're planting that so that you can sell that so you can get more seeds, so you can make more profit, blah, 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 and get more things. It's just not... for me, I usually prefer kind of an extended storyline kind of thing. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that's just me. And also, like, I know it's got a visual novel, like, marriage factor and stuff like that. And I like playing house, but, like, it's not truly playing house to me. So it's not, that part isn't really even that interesting. Like, the dating sim isn't really that interesting to me.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, Monster Hunter seemed like that to me. Where it was like you make your gear, you hunt things so that you can sell that to get better gear to get bigger monsters kind of thing. And that's great, but it was the kind of game that I felt like I would get bored super quickly with, and so I just never got into it.
For me, the grind comes down to two things. Abstractly, not Monster Hunter specifically. Like, what is the moment-to-moment grind like? Is it like, is the actions of grinding still fun? And so for games like World of Warcraft or Monster Hunter, that's true most of the time. Like, I enjoy just fighting the monsters. Like, it's fun to just like drop in for like a hunt or two and then drop out. But if you play it for too long in one sitting, it's tiring. And then the other factor is generally if it's an MMO or not. Like, if it's a single player game, I don't care how fun it is, I'm gonna burn out almost instantly. I don't know why. Why?
That is why Monster Hunter World does interest me, because I could imagine as a multiplayer game, it probably is pretty fun, because it's like working together to take down something huge, which in of itself, which funny enough, you know what game was almost supposed to be like that? The original Shadow of the Colossus. The original concept of the Shadow of the Colossus, I don't know if you guys knew this. The original concept for Shadow of the Colossus was basically an MMO where you teamed up with people to take down huge monsters or huge Goliaths or whatever they were called, Colossi. And then they changed it. They couldn't make it an MMO, so they made it into a game as they did now, which is great. It's a fantastic game. But that's what's so interesting. So, like, I that's why I may be interested in Monster World is, like, if I have people I know who would play with me, I could see, like, you know, the planning, you got all your people together, you're like, okay, you do this part, like a hunt. That's cool. I like that idea. But just by myself, that seems really...
Yeah, and that's kind of the hard part, is the time investment to reward is very important. Because, like, if you go on a hunt and you blow it, because, like, basically every hunt, if you get your HP reduced to 0, it's called carting, because you get knocked unconscious and they pull your body back to camp in a cart, and you can get back up and fight. Almost all missions, if you cart 3 times, it's just a failure of the mission. Mission ends, you get no reward. And that's 3 carts total. So if you're playing with 4 people, and one of them's a rando, and they suck, they can blow it for everyone.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So 3 carts total just per mission, basically.
Yes. And some missions are harder.
Yeah. So not everyone even gets one free death.
Yes. So for the hardest things, I generally have to play them solo, because I can't risk wasting my time on some noob. I mean, I'm a noob too. And I also, if I die and I be the guy who carts it for everybody, I feel horrible.
Yeah, I totally understand that. That's too bad. But I get it, but whew, that's rough.
Yeah, so playing with friends is really fun.
Yeah. So that may happen in the future for me, but yeah, because that does make sense to me. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Well,
I'd
say try it. It's definitely fun for the first.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't get to the end game, the true game with the real grinding, everything up to that is still fun, and there's enough there that it's still like a full game.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. Because I basically what I'm kind of getting involved. There's a couple of female gamers that are starting this thing called Greenleaf Gaming together. The idea being that one person knows a game really well, usually an MMO of some kind, and is leading the other person through the game. They're usually like when they've been doing what we're gonna do is a stream. Yeah, I don't exactly know if it's through Checkpoint XP like I've been doing or what it's gonna look like, but that's how my co-partner in that podcast I do, Not Your Player 2, we kind of found these girls who do that together, because one of them's really into Final Fantasy 14, the other's really into Elder Scrolls, so they like every other week they basically trade off kind of thing to get each other on, but they want to kind of make it to a bigger.
Trying to get me into 14.
Yeah, I've been told to just not buy.
I tried playing 14, like just with the starter edition and stuff, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like Final Fantasy at all to me.
Yeah.
One thing I almost did this past week, City of Heroes code leaked, and so there's private servers up and running. You can play City of Heroes again if you want to.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Wait, I thought they shut them down.
That's what I mean. That's what he means.
The code leaked.
Oh, the code leaked.
So there's people running servers that you can join now.
Oh, nice.
That's crazy. But yeah, with Final Fantasy 14, I also haven't gotten into it because my partner and a lot of her friends and everybody, they were in Final Fantasy 11 and loved it and hated 14. So it's like I go on it.
Which
and
14?
I'm not gonna.
Old 14 or new 14?
Both.
Huh.
Mostly new. I think old. Yeah, I didn't even know they were different. I just heard flack on all of it, but I think definitely new 14. But yeah, they loved 11 and couldn't get into 14.
There are actually like private hosted servers for 11 still.
There are, yep, because my partner got back into it and then, they really, I know, because my partner got into it for about a week and then stopped. You know what MMO I've been wanting?
Yeah, what do you like?
Yeah, you know what MMO I've been wanting to try, and like I just haven't done it yet. Elder Scrolls.
One, right? Oh
No, I've done Star Wars.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have an account through them. Yeah, I've done it.
It's free to play now, right?
It is free to play.
And
Kotar,
they've been
yeah,
actually, they have done a couple of times where they gave you the expansions for free. And it's usually to coincide with the new expansions coming out. So I actually have like 2 free expansions.
Yeah, I don't even think I've beaten the main game yet, and so I'm so far behind.
Actually, I should just fucking play it right now.
Wait, talking about Elder Scrolls or Tor? Elder Scrolls, right?
Oh, which one? I thought it was Tor.
I'm talking about Tor.
Which one did you mean?
Okay,
Tor?
sorry.
Okay, Tor. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't
Tor.
finish the main story either.
I haven't even gotten through Tor, to be honest with you. I was playing for a while with my brother, and then I stopped again. Like I bought it when it first came out because my brother was lonely and wanted someone to play with, and then I stopped. And then I was kind of like, oh, it's actually kind of fun if you do free to play now because I get extra perks because I bought it. But then I stopped again. But I've been really wanting to try Elder Scrolls, just because it looks like, I know it's not perfect, but like it looks pretty cool. It plays kind of like Skyrim, which I'm familiar with a little different stuff with the leveling system. I've been thinking of trying it out, but like at the same time, MMOs are hard for me because I'm definitely the type of person that if I don't have someone online that I like to play with, they're very, very boring to me. They're so boring.
Yes, 100%.
Like, I remember this friend of mine back in college tried to get me into MapleStory, and...
Oh, I play so much of that.
Oh my gosh, and I would only play with him. I didn't want to play, and he'd be like, you can play by yourself. I was like, no, this is, like, not fun. It's so boring by yourself.
And those kind of Asian games is basically 100% all about grinding.
Yes, those are really bad. I mean, I like an MMO where I can play a little bit by myself and like accomplish a thing and then
like
meet
Tor
back
and
up
Elder
with my
Scrolls.
friends. Exactly, yes.
That's one of the reasons like Tor was actually pretty decent. But I was playing it, and like I'm interested in Elder Scrolls, but it's still hard. Like I know I'm gonna get like there's gonna be that point where I'm like, I just want to chat with somebody. Like to me, it's like I just want to chat with somebody while I play. Like just doing it by like it's not the same to me as like playing a game by myself late into the night and just getting like lost into it. You know, it's very different experience for me.
Yeah.
And I'm also like past that age. Like I feel like when I was younger, like in my teenage years, I was really more into the talking to strangers online. And now these days, I'm like, oh my gosh, stop hitting on me. Oh my gosh, just stop saying weird things to me.
Actually, a game that I've been hooked on for a while now is Division 1. The first Division.
I don't know that.
The first
I don't
one.
know that one.
Is that third-person cover shooter game by Ubisoft. It's like a live service game. So it's you can play single player, but you can also play with people. So it's sort of like a hybrid. It's what Anthem and stuff was trying to be. So like the Division 1 came out. Yeah, because like a loot-based shooter with a bunch of microtransactions and stuff.
Wait, Anthem? Oh, yeah, sorry, Anthem. I was thinking of Apex Legends. You're right, that makes sense.
So it came out in 2016.
No, the bad one.
It came out in 2016 when there's so much bad things about it. And now in 2019, it's actually a really damn good game, and I'm so hooked on it.
Oh.
I finally finished like all the stuff. I reached full level and stuff, so now it's all the end game content. Oh my god, it's so difficult. It's just... But they have this expansion for... it's called Survival, where you get to... you start off with just a handgun, and you have a disease that you have to like find painkillers and medicine for, and you gotta eat, you gotta drink water, you gotta make clothes so that you don't die of the cold and stuff like that. It's actually quite fun. And all of this shit you can play with people. I think it's pretty good. You can play single player or multiplayer.
Okay, yeah. Man, the advent of the MMO. Are single player games really going away? You know, that was like, who said that? Was that EA? Or was I think that was offline games. I don't know. EA said something.
No, single player games.
Was it single player games?
Yeah. Sony has something to say about that.
EA.
Proto clickbait.
What'd you do for?
I beat Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
That was cool.
How many hours did you take?
Wow, okay.
I don't know. I mean, more than I needed. I was definitely like over leveled by the final boss. Final boss was super easy.
Fair enough. That happens.
Because there's 5 real bosses, like the 4 like divine beasts, and then the final boss. And I think the hardest boss in the whole game is the camel boss, because like his he's not a camel. He's just the boss inside the camel.
Okay.
And He's like a lightning charged guy who you can't damage except when he attacks you, and then you have to counter him, and that's the only time you can really damage him. And it sucks because if you mistime it, the fact he's lightning charged means not only do you take damage, but you drop everything you're holding. And it's just not fun to have to like kite him around, to run back, pick up your sword, pause the game in a menu, re-equip these things, or switch things, or whatever it is.
That's a shit mechanic.
It is really frustrating. The final boss has the same mechanic-ish. It has the same mechanic in that it'll at certain points it's invincible, and the only way to hurt it is to counter it, but it doesn't have the gear dropping thing, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, at least when you miss it, you're just like, okay, continue on.
I took damage.
The Breath of the Wild developers really want to fuck your inventory. Like, fuck you and your inventory management, man.
Very much.
One thing about Breath of the Wild that I think I know I personally feel it's an oversight from based on what I've seen it played. I really think that they should have had an unbreakable weapon, like a stick that couldn't be broken.
There kind of is eventually when you get the Master Sword, which takes a lot to get. It's sort of unbreakable.
What I mean though is like I know you do puzzles where you have to hit stuff.
Yes,
and
that's
like
a big
sometimes
annoyance.
you have to do it multiple times to know like where to aim. And it's like you're stuck inside this temple, and hopefully you got a few sticks because you don't want to lose your lightning sword. You know what I mean?
Like a shooter with unlimited ammo handgun. It's like your base emergency weapon.
Yeah. You do have infinite bombs, but it's not quite the same.
That's good. Yeah, it's just, for me, it's just like when you need to hit things just to hit things. Like, I think it's really silly that takes up damage, and like you might waste like some of your prized possessions.
There's no indication of durability. Like before a thing breaks, it's like, hey, your thing looks fragile, but you have no idea
how many hits
you are to that or not. Yeah, exactly.
And so like
maybe
that's
not
to
all
me.
hits are equal. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's to me what's really like that to me would be like really frustrating for me in this game because your inventory is limited. You know, you're only going to carry so many sticks around.
Yes.
So.
And shields and bows, everything has an inventory limit.
Exactly.
It's not everything. Food doesn't, and your clothing doesn't, but your weapons do.
Yeah. So that to me is one of the things I was like really surprised that they didn't do, but that's just me.
What else you play for?
Room for improvement. I played, what was it called? I got a new 4X game called Scanning.
Age of Wonders 3?
No, I don't see it. No,
okay.
It's a
space one.
It's like a Viking game.
Oh.
Where Northgard. It's called Northgard. Guard spelled Gard. So technically it's an RTS because it's not turn-based, but it still has like these the world's still divided into these distinct zones. And it's like you can only build so many buildings per zone, and so it's a lot of economy management because it's got like a strong driving factor is the seasons. It's like prepare for winter. Winter's coming because in winter your food requirements go up a lot and your wood requirements go up a lot. Because like it's all about like resources per second kind of a thing. That's kind of fun. I've played it. Let's see, how long have I played it? I've played it for 8 hours, and I feel like I'm done with. That was just like random skirmish games, and I felt like that was kind of enough. Like it's not that deep of a system. Like every game I've won has been through like the equivalent of a science victory, where it's like. I generated enough points and the game's over. It's not like I beat my opponent necessarily. But it's like there's like multiple different win conditions that are all variations of you generated enough points. It's not really that interactive, but that's kind of boring. But there is a story mode, so I'm gonna try that and see if that's good or not.
So you've been playing like sandbox mode or something, skirmish?
Yeah, just like me in a world with 3 NPCs, go. That kind of thing.
I thought it was an RTS. I didn't know there was like 4X elements.
So it is like an RTS, but I've only won. I deliberately set out to get a military victory, and I did it, but it just took way longer than the non-military victories, and it didn't even feel that good because it's not in Civilizations like a military victory is like when you completely destroy your opponent, right? Like they have no zones left. In this game, a military victory occurs just if you control enough space. and a couple other factors. So like your opponent can still exist and be like a threat to you, and you can win with a military victory, which is fine. It just feels weird. It doesn't feel as satisfying, I guess. I don't know. So it's fun. It's only $15, so it's definitely worth $15. I enjoyed it for that. The other thing I played, I'm still slowly working through Legend of Hand, which is that like martial arts point and click. I hopefully will finish that next week, certainly before the next podcast. I intend to. That's pretty much it. I only played Grim Dawn for a little bit. I might try Age of Wonders 3 because
it was free. Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, and Kathy Rain was free. Was it Kathy
Rain? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kathy Rain's good.
Okay. I haven't played it yet.
I liked it a lot. As far as like a point and click, it was pretty solid. There were only a few times where I was like, what the hell am I doing? Overall, like it had some pretty cool little puzzles, I will say. A lot of it was inventory based, but they had a couple of neato little like different puzzles for a point and click. But otherwise, it's all about the story. It's all about the characters and that part. One thing I just will warn you about the story is you don't realize at first. You're like, okay, is this not real? Are we still being practical? Oh no, magic is real. So just be careful, because there's a bit of a jump the shark moment, I think, in the story, but I'd love to hear what you think. I felt it was a pretty big jump the shark.
Okay,
yeah, I thought it was, but it was just strange because it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, are we still like pretending this isn't real? And I was trying to get a gauge from like the main character, but the main character was acting like, oh no, magic is now real. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're just accepting this now. To me, it just seemed like they were leading up to the idea that it wasn't. So I was kind of like,
I hate it when games do that.
Yeah, so that's my only thing. That is my only thing. But I'd be curious how you felt about it. But otherwise, I really, really enjoyed it. As far as a game goes, it's very solid.
Okay, good. Because like I also have the opposite problem with Legend of Hand right now, where the story's pretty good, and I really like the really kind of like low budget art style of it. But some of they're not even puzzles, but just like some of the things you have to click on to progress are super obtuse. Fortunately, like each level or like island you're on is pretty isolated, so it's not like this endless possibility of things.
Yeah.
But there've been a couple points where I'm like, I have no idea what to do next. My inventory's on like 2 things. I'm just gonna walk around talking to everybody and trying to use my 2 items on everything until I notice like this one thing happening.
Yeah, I would say in Kathy Rain, that only happened to, like, I think I only had to consult a guide maybe like 2 times to be like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. And one of them was I think I had to consult it 3 times, but like one of it was completely my fault. Like I was just too dumb to notice something, and I was like, oh, that was a lot more obvious than I thought it was. But the other times were like, what? Oh, okay. So it wasn't too bad.
Cool. So that's it for games. In terms of watching things, I don't think I watched anything super cool. There was
Opposite
Pikachu,
of me.
Avengers. That's it. Looking forward to John Wick 3.
Oh yeah, that's coming out.
Yeah,
There's the new John Wick game.
Oh, a game.
Yep, it's a strategy action game.
Interesting.
Yeah, top-down strategy action game, and it's being made by goddamn, what's his name? Mike Bithell, the guy who made Thomas Was Alone and Volume. And stuff.
Whoa, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. He has a small team working on that game. Yeah, it's kind of weird that a big like movie IP goes with going to a indie guy.
Yeah, that's really weird and cool. Oh, that's a game I played. I played at a friend's house. I don't own it. I didn't play much of it. It's called Baba Is You.
Oh, I've been wanting to try that one.
It's cool. It's good. So the main mechanic behind Baba Is You is each level has these rules that exist as items in the game. So like the core rule generally is like there'll be the Baba item next to the Is item next to the like You item, and you can push these items around. So you can push like there's a rule that says like Baba is melt. That means if the Baba character gets too close to a fire thing, it will melt. But you could say you could push Baba out of melt and put like box is melt, and now if you push the box into the thing, the box will melt, which will let you get to the key or whatever. So it's like all about like manipulating these rules in the universe. They're trying to figure out how to get the things.
It's really
normally
cool.
you're Baba, but you could like, oh no, I'm the goal now, and I can move the goal into the Baba and win the game that way, or something like that.
Okay, like if you said like
It's
gold
really
is you
complex.
Or something. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Super cool.
I would get so lost, but at least
I've been thinking of getting on
and
the
it's easy
Switch.
to fuck it up too, because like if you push Baba out of Baba is you, then you just can't move Baba anymore, and so like the only controls are move and rewind, because it's very easy to just make it so you know to break the rules.
What is this on PC or what's this on?
It's on PC, but I played it on the Switch.
It's
My
on
friend
PC.
got it from the Switch.
I think it's on basically everything.
I
Not
think
super
so.
sure, but I know it's on Switch and PC.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. I really need to get a Switch.
Yeah.
Like today, I really need to. I keep forgetting to.
At least for the new Pokemon games.
Ace Attorney is probably what's gonna finally
Oh,
push me
yeah.
over.
Yeah, I have that physical version Japanese one. Oh fuck, so good.
I'm so jealous.
I've been playing. I finished the first run of Bayonetta 2 on the Switch. Oh my god, I love that game so
okay.
much. I love that game so much.
I should pick that up. Do I have to play one first? Does it matter? Is one even worth playing?
One's good, I thought.
I don't play these games for the story. I play it for the combos and the stylish combat and the crazy.
Totally.
I heard one was solid. So it might
A
be
lot
worth
of
it.
people. Bayonetta 1 was really good, and a lot of people liked it better than the Devil May Cry games because it.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
You know, it's like a similar
Yeah.
thing, like
It's a
combo
high bar.
action hack and slash kind of thing.
It
But
is absolutely.
but it does have a different. It focuses on you evading and activating bullet time, witch time.
Okay.
Yes.
So I love it.
Interesting.
It's super stylish, and Bayonetta is Bayonetta. And if you buy, you can buy like the physical version of Bayonetta 2. It will come with a download code for Bayonetta 1,
Oh.
and both games.
Okay.
And
That's
I
a good
think
deal.
brand new is sold like for $40-$50, and you get 2 games. But you sometimes can find it on sale for like $30, $20 sometimes on like Amazon
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's
I haven't played
pretty
it
fucking
myself.
cheap.
If I get a Switch, I probably will. I will admit I had avoided it for the longest time just because when I first looked up the game, I was very put off when the reading about how the designers were purposely like, we needed to make her super sexy. And Sarah,
the
as
thing
a
is,
late teenager, was
most
like,
of these designers are super aware, and
yeah.
they like
it's
basically
meant to be more of a joke. Almost.
they basically say
yeah.
we like
I feel like
we
it.
like sexy girls, and we want to put sexy girls into our games rather than somebody like, oh, they breathe through our skin or some stupid ass shit.
Right, no, they're at least open about it, which I appreciate. But it's funny just because I remember like reading the initial like people just saying, yeah, we just totally wanted to make her super sexy, and me just being like, oh, not again. So I just
And it's like,
avoided it for the longest time.
The only thing I don't like about Bayonetta is her legs are way too long.
They're
And
so long.
and
They're
Bayonetta
stupidly long.
2, I'm not sure Bayonetta 1 on the Switch because I played it on like PS3. But Bayonetta 2, which is exclusively on Nintendo Wii U and Switch, at least for the Switch version, they have costumes like Peach
Yeah.
and shit like
Oh,
that.
cool.
Yeah.
And you unlock them. You have to grind for like the halos, the like the money to like unlock and buy them. It looks weird because her legs are too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can actually unlock a bunch of stuff if you have amiibos actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you
I
can
don't.
you can. So what I did was I bought pirated amiibos because fuck that. Because over here, 2 amiibos, at least 2 of the more popular, like, popular character kind of amiibos can buy you a fucking whole new AAA game. So fuck that shit.
Jeez.
So I bought.
That's-
So what people have been doing is they have. So it's basically cards. They put an NFC chip into the card, and each card
Right.
will
spoof it.
will hold. Yeah, they basically spoof. And then I bought like a Smash Bros set that has like all the different type of characters, and I just
That's cool.
unlock a bunch of stuff in Bayonetta 2. And you can use the amiibos every day to, once you unlock like if you have a Peach amiibo, you can unlock her costume. But if you use it every day after that, you unlock like a bunch of like items and like money and stuff. So it just makes it just that much easier with the grinding to unlock a bunch of other stuff. The weapons are insane. My favorite weapon by far is the chain chomp from Mario. It's attached to her ankle and she just kicks with it, and it's amazing. I love it. But it's just fun. It's so great. It's just super stylish, and it's really easy to pick up. It takes a while to get used to, but it's just super easy to pick up and play. Story is stupid and ridiculous. Voice acting is shit, but nobody plays it for that.
Oh no.
I mean, the voice acting is just like over the top. Everything's over the top.
Yeah.
Which is what people like about the game anyways. So yeah, go get it for the Switch. You get Bayonetta 1 and 2 if you buy the right bundle.
It has to be a physical bundle, right?
I believe so, yeah. If it's digital, then it will be like a separate purchase, I believe.
Okay.
So I've been playing a bit, bunch of Division 1. And I watched a bunch of Season 2s. I watched American God Season 2.
Oh.
That was 8 episodes finished. Waiting for Season 3 now, coming on next year. Man, they really want to drag that one book out, man. Kind of feels a little bit draggy. Some parts of Season 2 was better than Season 1. Some parts of Season 1 was better than Season 2. Overall, it was enjoyable. Ian McShane is great. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
I watched Season 2 of The Tick. That one was really good.
Season 2's out of The Tick?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it was out?
Yep.
Oh, how did I not know?
All episodes out.
How did you miss that?
Oh, okay. Well, I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm just going to watch the whole thing.
Yep. And it's easy to watch. It's like 30 minutes each episode, right?
Yeah. So good.
So 10 episodes, so like
That reminds
5
me,
hours.
though, I also watched the What We Do in the Shadows show.
Show. Oh,
That's
yeah,
what-
right. What
Yeah,
one
they
that
did a
was
show,
up?
like
Is it
5
on?
or 4 episodes out. I think FX. Maybe it's Hulu.
What did you watch it on?
My friend's Plex server.
Okay. So it's like not like Netflix or anything, right?
Right.
Right.
It's stupidly not easy to get.
But it doesn't have Taika. Does it have Taika in it?
No. He's in the credits. I'm not sure what role he plays. I know a couple of episodes have been directed by Jermaine. And it's very clearly set up in America, so they've left the door open for possible cameos if their New Zealand characters visit the American characters.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, the first episode's basically all just the same jokes, but it's good. I'm liking it a lot so far.
The Tech 2 was really good, actually. I want to say I prefer it to Season 1.
Okay, nice.
I mean, it's at least as good as Season 1, I feel.
Yeah. Season 1 is good. It's almost like it tries to do this thing for the first several episodes where it kind of tries to be a little bit of like deep. Where it's like, oh, is the tick real? Is it just a figment of his imagination?
Yeah.
And they quickly, make that unambiguous. But I think I'm maybe getting rid of that sort of thing and just being more jokes is better.
The only thing that it doesn't have is the fun villain from Season 1.
No,
Because they captured him in Season 1, right?
I need to rewatch Season 1. You're talking about like the
How'd you forget
the,
that part?
The Rorschach guy.
what's his? Yeah, the Rorschach guy. What's his name? Becky Earl Haley.
I can't remember his name.
I think it's like we don't kill people because they make fun of our names. We kill people because it's fun to do. It's like, we don't put our best guys on the flamethrowers.
He was great.
Jackie Earl Haley and the Lint Girl. Oh man, okay.
The Lin girl
bummer.
makes a comeback. The Lin girl
Okay.
actually has a pretty big role in Season 2.
Okay, she's good.
Um,
I should rewatch Season 1, or at least the second half of Season 1 before I watch Season 2.
Yeah.
I think.
I also finished Season 2 of Mrs. Maisel, and I actually prefer Season 2. I think
that
Season
show's supposed to be good.
actually Season 2 I think is better than Season 1. And Season 2, guess who
Okay,
makes
that
an
makes sense.
appearance? The guy who plays Shazam. What's his name?
Oh, I can't think of his name.
I don't know his name, but Chuck.
Chuck, the Chuck guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was good in Season 2. He came in like episode 3. So yeah, bunch of really good shows on Prime Video, and I'm now gonna start watching The Man in High Castle. Man in the High Castle.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, my father got really into that one.
How many seasons of that exist? 'Cause
3,
I only
I
watched
believe.
the first one. Okay.
3, I believe, of maybe 4. I'm not sure. That one's also just one book, right? They're really dragging this shit out.
Yeah, you know.
When is Good
You
Omens
know
coming
how
out?
they do.
Well, if I didn't know that Tick Season 2 came out, I have no trust in my confidence to know when Good Omens is coming out.
So yeah.
Not soon enough.
News time?
News time.
Nothing big. There's one thing about the Switch. It got an update, and apparently it now has a boost mode.
Boosh.
So you don't actually turn on boost mode yourself. Is what I'm understanding, and it's something that developers have to take into account when developing the games for the Switch. And developers can choose to use boost mode, which is overclocked hardware basically.
Oh, wow.
If you want to get real hard into the numbers, go and Google Nintendo Switch boost mode for Eurogamer and Digital Foundry. They did a bunch of tests.
I'm shocked that they would allow that in their systems.
Yeah,
that's a lot of power.
So that's pretty cool.
Yikes.
Riot, 150 employees walked out, right?
Woo!
Yeah, they are.
Hell yeah.
The other companies' HR departments are descended on Riot like piranhas. They're trying to recruit everybody away.
Seriously,
and they're having an easy time of it.
The real scary thing is a lot of big video game companies are probably looking at Riot and going, please don't budge, because if Riot budges on this one, other companies are about to follow. Unionize. It's going to be a fun time.
The forced arbitration is now only for new Riot employees, right?
Well, that's what's kind of hard to tell. I mean, things I've read have said that Riot has been trying to enforce that they had that on some old employees and the new ones. So I've been hearing differing stories. So I don't really know. Forced arbitration it depends on the company. Some companies do make it that even if you leave them, there's forced arbitration. So it really depends. That's why I've heard that I think with Riot, they've been trying to say that old employees follow under that, but I don't know the legality stuff of all of that. It's shady. That's all I know. It's shady as all get out and is a horrible policy, and hopefully they are forced to change it.
Yeah, I think the main reason companies do forced arbitration is because people rarely follow through with it, as opposed to like regular court proceedings. But the downside is that a forced arbitration is kind of like a settlement, so it doesn't really set any precedents. So each thing has to be tried like separately. Like as Uber has a problem right now where like 60,000 employees or people have leveraged things against it, and they're all in forced arbitration, and it's going to cost them like $60 million and take them like decades to work through all the legislative backlog kind of stuff.
That isn't, because forced arbitration on its like face value is more like helpful for the companies than the employees. At the same time, yeah, it's a power move. Exactly. At the same time, it is funny when you say it that way. It's like if you have everybody that's doing it now, all of a sudden, that is interesting.
Death by 1,000 cuts, because they can't just do one class action suit or settle one suit and have that set precedents for the rest. That's actually just do each one.
Oh,
so what I didn't know
one thing.
was Google also did this. Google employees walked out to end forced arbitration, and 20,000 Google employees.
I believe Facebook had a similar. There were a lot of big tech companies that basically had this issue, which is why for Riot it's kind of like,
I mean, tech companies have like some shitty labor shit, man.
Oh, absolutely they do. It's horrible. It's horrible.
And they kind of like work together to continue the shitty practices, don't they?
There was a thing recently about some sketchy like if somebody quit Facebook, then like Google wouldn't hire them. Like these things. Like you can't quit because then you won't find a job anywhere else. That kind of thing.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of companies, too many, that do non-compete clauses. And some of those non-compete clauses extend till after, like some of the ones are just like 3 years or something like that. And some of them are like, I feel like Coca-Cola and Pepsi have something like this, where if you work for Coke, you can't work for Pepsi and vice versa, like ever.
Probably.
And it's just like, on the face value, you kind of get it. But at the same time, it's like, if you have somebody that has been specialized in a certain position, I'm going to use I'm just going to use radio as an example because my partner does radio. Like, I don't know if they have a full NDA. I'd have to see. Or non-compete, excuse me. I have to see. But, like, just as that for an example, my partner has, gotten experience in radio, has technically gotten education in videography and stuff like that. If she had a non-compete clause for, like, 3 years after she either got fired or left this job, well, technically, unless she's going to do what we call an unskilled job, she's out of work for 3 years. So it's a horrible, like,
I was hearing about some companies that were giving like their janitors non-compete clauses. It's like, what the fuck?
Which is ridiculous. Like, that's what I mean. Like, Coca-Cola and Pepsi's a great example of like where they have those. But like a janitor from Coca-Cola, you're gonna tell them they can never work for Pepsi? Really?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I don't know enough to really understand why non-compete clauses are legal.
I think it's simply just because there's been enough lobbying with those corporations to make it happen. I mean, like,
if you don't know the answer,
right?
the answer is always lobbying.
It almost always is. In the United States, at least, it always is. I mean, why? Here's one that I didn't even think about till I read about it somewhere. Why do we have to buy our cars from like specific dealerships? Why can't we just go to a car shop where we can have any kind of new car we want? It's because the car industry lobbied, to be able to have this kind of forced monopolies on their companies where you have to go through that kind of thing. They have those salesmanship dealt that way. It's just
Same thing with those game retailers, right? In a way.
Yeah. In a way, yeah. It's just...
That's why a lot of companies are super into digital now. Get to take money away from GameStop.
So if any non-Americans... let me know, any listeners that are not American, let me assure you, we may try to say that we are a capitalist country. We are not. We are horrible at it, actually. We are very monopolistic. Or whatever it's called. The
walkout,
I forget what it's
the top organizers of the walkout said that if they don't... if Riot doesn't make any commitment on the forced arbitration demands, by May 16th, they have plans to take further action. The walkout organizers. So yeah.
Yep. Woohoo! This is exciting. Oh man, this is hopefully gonna end well, but it's gonna definitely be an upset.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping more than 150 people joined.
I was hoping so too. Maybe more will join.
It's easier to say when it's not, your... It's not your...
when it's not your livelihood?
Table, right? Yeah.
Well, that's always what it is, right? When it's not your livelihood, Like, would I walk out of my job tomorrow if there was an issue or whatever? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say.
If I had a second job already lined up that I knew I liked, yeah.
Yeah.
How much shit would I put up with? My patience would be much lower.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's hard. It's very hard.
So yeah, that's the thing. Next thing. So you guys know that Minecraft is celebrating their 10th anniversary, right?
I think I did hear about
free
that.
or something, right?
Okay, so there've been a couple of things. I believe the first bill ever to be playable for consumers is now available for free on the browser.
Oh.
Yeah, so like the first original 32 somewhat blocks and like all the original bugs and stuff, basically, it's unchanged. That's one thing they're doing, and another thing they're doing is Microsoft, who bought Minecraft, has excluded Notch from any anniversary event, from anything basically, due to his comments and opinions.
Like what?
Oh, he's like a alt-right conspiracy theorist guy on Twitter.
I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
No,
oh my
we
God.
had no idea.
Oh,
that's
no.
sad. Right?
I'm not super well versed. I don't remember everything that he believes in, but he is like full on alt-right, full on. I believe that was that pizza shop conspiracy. Pizzagate.
Oh,
he was into
Are you kidding me?
I'm not even joking.
Okay, I felt kind of bad because I'd heard things like they removed his name from the game. I'm like, oh, that's rude. Now I have no sympathy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, now it's really hard to have sympathy for
You're
something like that.
entitled to your opinions, but we can say your opinions are stupid and wrong.
You're entitled
As
to your,
am I.
Exactly. You're entitled to your opinions, as am I. Boop.
He's just a lonely, angry, rich white guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's sad.
I can't last 5 minutes on his Twitter account.
Oh.
Yeah, he's just...
Woof.
Yeah, this is the Notch everybody loves. And he's like full-on, unironically gamerized up kind of guy as well.
Oh no. I thought they were all ironic.
Oh man, it's just... When will we see the day when a gamer can walk the streets peacefully?
We're so oppressed.
Oh man. So more shitty news. Gearbox and Borderlands 3 and Randy Bitchford.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Why can't he just shut the fuck up?
I don't want him to shut up. I don't want him to see what he has to say.
Fair, yeah.
I just want him to get in trouble. I want him to keep talking until this whole world crumbles.
Yep. So David Eddings was a former employee at Gearbox. He was he wasn't like directly in development, I believe. I think he was marketing or finance or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But he is also the former voice actor for Claptrap, which is a, very well known, very well loved character in the Borderlands universe. And apparently they asked him if he wanted to come back to do the voice, and he was like, yeah, sure, pay me. And they were like, oh no, sorry, no thank you. And apparently
their story is different.
And a bunch of like
of course,
a bunch of the employees that have done voice acting for the Borderlands games have not been, paid extra and stuff for their voices.
Mm-hmm.
And
their time and work.
They were also told that they were gonna get like profit shares or like some kind of stock in the company that was also not given because Randy Bitchford lies. That's what he does. Nobody should believe him anymore. I don't know why.
He's an illusionist. It's not lies. It's a magic trick. Haha, it's my money.
And David Eddings, the voice guy, also like accused like Randy Bitchford of taking bonuses that was not supposed to be his, like $12 million or something.
Yeah, I remember he said a bonus of $12 million. I don't remember if it was like not supposed to be his or just sketchy because nobody else got anything.
Yeah. And Randy also called the Claptrap voice actor David Eddings bitter and disgruntled. And then David Eddings is there's another new interview. His clapback was Randy was a bully and kind of rage fired him.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where it's like, maybe I don't need to buy Borderlands 3. Especially if it's like an Epic's game thing.
Oh, okay. So, apparently, the $12 million is what is alleged in a lawsuit to have received to what Pitchford have received as a secret bonus that went to himself instead of the studio.
I see.
I don't know.
Because I know he's also been accused of I'm not sure where the money came from, but using money he's not supposed to use, like company money, on like barbecues and parties and very personal, non-company expenditures, like with the company credit card, basically.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened to that? Him taking money from Sega and putting it into Borderlands 2 instead of the Aliens game? That sounds illegal as shit.
I forgot about that. It does.
But there's just no news about it. Maybe it's a closed.
I don't know.
Was it a closed door settlement or something?
Yeah, maybe.
How is this guy still the CEO, man?
Got dirt on somebody.
Maybe 2K owns them.
Maybe he threw an orgy and he filmed it, and now they can't say anything.
Maybe. I don't know. Randy Pitchford. He is an endless amount of entertainment.
Okay. I guess that's one word for it.
So yeah, I am excited for Borderlands 3 though. That's the problem.
I
haven't watched the trailer yet. I don't know. I do want a new Borderlands, but
the new Siren looks really cool.
God
damn it! I'll buy it when it's like on sale or some shit.
Well, you gotta wait like 6 months for it to get on Steam anyway, right? It's like a limited.
I'm just gonna wait for like a 50% sale at least. And I'm gonna have we have to see like what's their DLC and expansion plans, because with Borderlands games you just never know.
Yes, Borderlands 2 had pretty good DLC.
Yeah, they had a bunch of costumes, but at least you knew
costumes. Who cared?
But the Game of the Year edition, you didn't get all the expansions, right? I believe
I don't know.
I think there was like a last Vault Hunter DLC that the ones that increase your level cap by 10.
Huh,
I believe
okay.
it wasn't part of the Game of the Year edition. I'm not super.
Interesting.
There's just too many DLCs. I just can't keep track.
There's always too many.
And then they have the kind of microtransactions with the skins.
Okay, next thing. So there is a tabletop Elder Scrolls game that was pulled for plagiarism.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Haha. Good.
So they basically took pretty much almost word for word. They copied a D&D adventure
It's a
published by Wizards of
module.
the Coast in 2016.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Did they?
It
really
wasn't
think
even
they were
subtle.
It
It
wasn't
wasn't,
even
yeah,
subtle
it
at
wasn't.
all.
No
Like,
one's gonna notice. It's an old module. Nobody remembers those
So-
things. Oh wait,
so-
our fan base is exactly those people.
exactly.
So
what?
the D&D one, the first sentence, there's nothing like the desert to make people feel small and insignificant. The ESO one, first sentence, nothing beats the desert to make people feel small and unimportant. They just had a fucking thesaurus
Clever.
open. They just had thesaurus.com
So
open.
I
Son of a
know.
bitch.
Yikes, guys. Well, thank goodness that got resolved. Because yikes.
In every direction, comma, huge dunes. And the ESO one, in every direction, enormous dunes. Come on.
Ooh, they're even
oh my
bigger.
gosh. You know what they did? They copied the text onto Word. I don't know if you guys know this function, but you can like right click words on Microsoft Word
And
and it has
look
a
at the
synonym
thesaurus
function.
list, right?
And
Yeah.
you just and you just click something else. That's just what they did. Like what the heck?
Sounds like it.
Jeez.
Oh my
I'm glad
god.
there was no question on that one because that was
I'm glad they
nuts.
didn't get away with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's good. I don't. The company pulled the game, but I don't think they came up with any statement yet.
Yeah, not yet, I guess.
Yeah, but they've taken down the Elsewhere ESO adventure. Okay, so that's a thing. Oh, Jesus.
That's the thing.
Final Fantasy VII Remake got a new trailer.
Yeah, it's
The voice acting sounded
pretty.
really bad. Was it just me?
It
I
was-
didn't watch the trailer, but the pictures looked real cool.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's very pretty.
But it's not gameplay. Like they even said like it's not a gameplay trailer. So it just looks like they just made cutscenes and pasted on like health bars. So like I don't know what to think of
From
it.
the very, very little gameplay. I mean, it's not like... I don't think it's pure gameplay. It's like one of those cutscene, but kind of made to look like gameplay kind of thing.
Exactly. But that's the problem.
It kind of
They
looks
always
like
do-
Final Fantasy 15, which is a game I disliked.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's just like, I don't know. This has been my problem with any Final Fantasy game these days, where like it looks really, really pretty. Like I'll watch your cutscenes, but
To be
it
fair,
doesn't mean I'm gonna pick up the game.
there's been only one Final Fantasy 15 game, Final Fantasy game these days, which is 15, which was again not a lot of problems, a lot of good things about it, but also a lot of problems. I'm gonna
Yeah,
try to
I
get
heard-
back into it because it's a
Yeah,
Final
I've
Fantasy
heard
game and I
it's-
should finish it.
It's funny, like as a collective, I've heard nothing but good things, but like people like close to me do not like it.
Yeah, I don't understand. So I'm part of like the Final Fantasy subreddit and JRPG subreddit because I'm just
Yeah.
huge into these genres, right?
Because you're a nerd.
Yeah.
We get it.
And I just feel so sad when I see so many people who say good things about FF15. But one thing I notice is people who say good things about FF15 is usually their first Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
If it's not their first Final Fantasy, it's even their first JRPG. Yeah, a lot of
I see.
a lo-
That's very
and a
pretty.
lot of veteran comments I see they didn't really like it.
Yeah, I can see that. We'll see. I just I don't know what to say about it. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, so I don't have a connection to it. And right now I'm just like, it looks pretty. That's all I can really say about it, you know? There's no we'll see. I don't know. I still can't even believe this game's actually coming out.
So yeah, they also reiterated that is going to be episodic.
Yes. Yep.
Released?
Okay.
Or just...
I think really. I don't know. I know they kept saying it was going to be multiple discs, which I was like, what company does multiple discs these days?
What they mean
so I don't...
is they're going to break down Final Fantasy VII into multiple games. Probably full priced.
Yeah, sounds like it.
All right. I'll wait for the online Let's Play.
I'll wait for the Game of the Year edition, kind of.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
One of those.
Lordy.
Because like Final Fantasy 15 was like 100 gigs, which is fucking huge.
Yeah. I mean, the Final Fantasy VII original game was very long for its time.
Yeah, it was like 4 discs or something.
Yeah, but they're just padding things out in there. So that's why it's especially like...
So it's going to be named Final Fantasy VII 1 and then Final Fantasy VII 2.2. And then Final Fantasy VII...
It's like they brought some
like
old product manager out of retirement who doesn't know like the current state of tech or the market or anything.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah, back in my day, we'd make a lot of money by just spreading the game out over a lot of hardware.
Right?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. We'll
We'll
see what happens.
It does look cool. Fans have said that they dislike the voice actor for Barrett. I just dislike the voice acting in general. It sounds really bad. Like Cloud and what's the name that dies? Aerith?
Aerith, yeah.
They just sound really amateur. Like just really like I don't know how to seriously go watch it and tell me I'm crazy.
You're probably not. I actually didn't listen to it yet. I was just watching it.
Go and do that and
listen to it.
Tell me that have really high standards or I'm talking bullshit.
You're probably not wrong, to be honest with you.
I'm not going to be surprised.
I
wouldn't be surprised.
But it's a AAA game.
Yeah,
with a lot of money behind it.
There's no excuse for it. We'll see what happens. Whee!
Oh, is that a flower? Really, motherfucker? Is that what? Oh, come on, man. Oh man.
Unfortunately I don't know if they're gonna redo the dialogue, because man, was that translation very okay. Oh, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's very much I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm just pissed that they didn't give Final Fantasy VIII any love.
I know you are. You and my partner both.
Like this.
You know they lost that game, right?
Yeah, like the Switch. Like a bunch of Final Fantasy games is releasing on the Switch, right? Like so, the all 7, 12 just came out.
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
And 10-2.
And 10-2. World of Final Fantasy. Fucking Chocobo Dungeon. No Final Fantasy VIII. What?
Because they lost it. Because they
have fucking Chocobo Dungeon.
They lost it, Char.
Okay, so like, and the games are really expensive on the Switch.
The files are gone.
The FF10 and 10-2, priced at $50. Like, holy fuck. I love those games, but they're like almost 20 years old now.
Yeah, my partner's been replaying them. The only thing I will say from what I've been told after watching her play several hours of it, I guess one of the parts that's like was already super hard is like impossible now. There's this thing where in order to get an ultimate weapon, you have to dodge 200 lightning bolts, which sounds like hell to me.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, so because of the HD remaster, the sound and the lighting like don't coincide the same way,
so it's a new pattern, basically.
Yeah, it's almost new. It's actually almost impossible to like know when it's coming. Ew. So have fun, but it looks really pretty. The remaster looks gorgeous. I will say though, the remaster as far as like the in-game graphics are like kind of creepy because they're remastered, everyone's eyes are just extra big.
And also the playable characters are HD, but the backgrounds and stuff are not.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but if you play it on
really
PC, you can download a bunch of mods to like help with that.
Okay. It still looks pretty good. So I mean if you like those, it works. They added new stuff for 10 too. I don't know too much other than that. But yeah, I've been really like that's another reason I'm thinking I should get a Switch because like
Final Fantasy 12 on the Switch is like the best version.
Oh, interesting. I've been wanting to try 9 though.
Extra features that's not even on the PlayStation 4 or the international PlayStation 2 one.
Oh wow, that's fancy.
You can respec, basically choose your jobs again, which is not available in like the.
Oh, interesting.
Nice quality of life thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm done just a couple more like new things that was announced. Tetris 99 Big Block DLC. So you guys know about the Tetris 99 Battle Royale Switch Online game, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna get a $10 DLC, which lets you play offline with bots, and also comes with a marathon mode, and more modes will be available. And it doesn't require a Nintendo Switch Online to buy. So if you don't want to play online, you can just get this. So it's a
not bad.
$10 Tetris game, basically.
Okay. I have a friend who got number 1 on one of those things.
Damn.
No joke.
They are also doing
She's
like a
extreme.
championship cup thing. So if you can get 100 points within like a week or something, you get like a Game Boy theme.
Yeah.
So that's cool. If you get first place, you get like 100 points straight away.
Yeah, and you get it'll be quite the ride.
Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Yakuza Kiwami 2 on PC just came out. I highly recommend that one. It's amazing. Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 2 is the best. That's available right now on like the HD new console stuff. Ghost Recon there's a new Ghost Recon game announced. The bad guy is going to be played by the Punisher guy, John Bernthal. He's always good. I like him.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know him from Walking Dead. I mostly know him from Punisher.
Yeah, fair.
That's about it. Nothing much else. You guys have anything else?
Well, I mean, there's the big one.
What's the big one?
Legislation.
All right.
U.S. legislation was presented by Senator Josh Hawley, who's from Minnesota. Is that where he's from?
Minnesota.
Is it Minnesota? Lord, I don't remember. He's a senator. Has introduced legislation to ban loot boxes, pay-to-win monetization, and someone told me microtransactions. I am looking at the legislation and I'm not seeing that, so I don't know if that was correct. But definitely loot boxes. I would feel like trying to ban microtransactions would be a little harder.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. They are increased monetization models that promote compulsive microtransaction purchases. Okay, but that's like loot boxes. That's a little different. Yeah, I think someone had read before that it was microtransactions and loot boxes, and I was like, that's insane. You just tore apart Fortnite in a Fortnite. But it basically, we don't know any details yet. Basically, the senator has just presented legislation and wants to basically go forward on finding ways to ban these features in games. And I mean, the guy has done his research, this really, like the way that he talks about it, this isn't like when those old, Congress people were like, how does Facebook make money? This isn't anything like that. Like, this guy uses terms such as like, loot boxes, pay to win. I'm reading this, so I'm reading word for word from the Josh Hawley, like Missouri, not Minnesota. Sorry, guys. He's a U.S. senator for Missouri. He just has on his website like just some quick information about this legislation. So I'm literally just reading it. So background: in recent years, the video game industry has become increasingly reliant on monetization models that promote compulsive microtransaction purchases by consumers. The most abusive such practices are pay to win. Pay to win games take two forms. In some cases, designers engineer games with artificial difficulty curves to spend money. We all know that issue. These games are often free to download, have a false sense of progression.
Damn, he knows his shit.
Increasing difficulty to induce compulsive purchases. In other cases, designers create multiplayer games offering players who purchase paid upgrades competitive advantages over players. And loot boxes. Loot boxes incorporate both free and paid games, offer players randomized rewards for spending money, combine the addictive properties of pay to win with the compulsive behavior inherent in other forms of gambling. And he even includes like an example with Candy Crush. He literally just says, it offers players additional lives on a set timer, allows players to purchase a $150 Luscious bundle, including 1,000 units of its gold bar in-game currency, a variety pack of temporary boosters to reduce game difficulty, and 24 hours of unlimited lives. The game touts this offering with media labeled best value. This guy, like, he really knows what he's talking about, and he's really serious about this. And I don't really blame him, like, for wanting to do something about this. I'm not even really, now that I'm understanding that it's not like microtransactions as a full, the person who said that to me was false information. But this is fascinating to me. And I truly do feel that, like, game companies kind of had their time to, like, get their shit together on this, and they didn't. So now the law is coming after you, which I'm not saying is a good thing, but this has, I mean, if this goes through, if they make something up, this could really make some big companies nervous.
Yeah.
The only thing I was kind of thinking about, and there's no one has said anything about this as far as, like, where the lines would be. But, for example, they're only talking about video games. I mean, we do loot boxes and other kinds of games, like Magic the Gathering. Well, toys, Magic the Gathering. That's a loot box. But Magic the Gathering also has an online game, and, like, Hearthstone is like Magic in that way, where you get packs of cards that are basically loot boxes. And so
but that would fall under, like, the video game category, though, right?
That's right. I don't know.
It seems like it would.
You would think, but I don't know, because one's a physical game and the other's it's video game components. So, like, what happens to those games? I'm not, like, super worried, but it's an interesting conundrum. I have no idea what's going to happen to those kinds of games. Should there be any legislation about this?
How would you
it could really
go about that?
those.
Like those nowadays when you go into a Toys R Us or whatever, you see those like boxes of like toys, and you don't know which one you're gonna get. I mean, like...
Right. Like, where are they going to draw the line? I don't know. I think there can be a line to be drawn.
Yeah.
I think... here's, to me, the difference. Here's where I think they may put a difference, and I don't know how they're going to codify this, but here's, to me, the line. He specifically talks about pay to win as being, like, where basically people people buy things that are upgrades that give you a major competitive advantage over other players. Mm-hmm. Magic the Gathering in of itself, like, you could spend lots of money to get that, but at the same time you also could have rules. There are ways to put rules against, like, you know, person-to-person play of, like, how much you can spend, but also, like, you know, in game 2, it's not necessarily like you're paying to get the best card kind of thing. It is kind of random. So it's a little different.
You're spending money for a non-guaranteed advantage.
Right. So it's a little
I don't know if it's better
different.
or worse.
I don't know. It is different, so I don't know. But that's the only thing I can really think of where they may try to draw that line, but it is still kind of loot boxy. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, you know, where this goes, and how they're going to make that law. I do see the potential for this to really backfire pretty badly. Especially if they make it too vague. Like I said, because I remember I was like, do they include microtransactions as a whole? That's what I wasn't sure about. Because like I said, if they do, yikes. You know, that's really bad. Most games make money from that. But it's hard to say at this point. It's definitely, if this goes through, which we don't know yet, but if it does, this has the potential to really change some things, and EA's going to have to lobby hard, or it's in trouble.
There's gonna be a new Star Wars ride at the Disneyland.
Probably.
There's a whole new
Star Wars Galaxy's
like
Edge.
Yeah,
there's a whole
new
land.
expansion.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Huge.
Sounds cool.
Huge. It's
Hey,
like a
that's all I
Millennium
got.
Falcon ride where you man different sectors of the Millennium Falcon and like you play different roles. It sounds interesting.
Oh, that's really fun. I
Yeah,
want a game.
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, I don't want to be like, well, so like, because one of their big hooks that they're talking about, they don't have specific details on yet, is somehow they're going to track your behavior in Star Wars land so people will react to you differently. Like, oh, hey, you're the guy who shot down 6 TIE fighters and the blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, that was me. So what my fear now is if I'm doing the Millennium Falcon ride and some stupid toddler is on the gun, it's like, oh, you're those guys who didn't save the Nebuchadnezzar. And like, it wasn't my fault. It was the stupid children.
Oh, gosh. That's funny.
We'll see.
Anyway, that's all I got.
That'll be cool. I don't have anything.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah,
So.
I don't really have anything else.
You want to wrap up?
Yeah, let's wrap up. You know what to do.
All right, guys. Yeah. I'm Sarahscopic, Sarahscopic. You can talk to me on Facebook. You can definitely talk to me on Twitter. I'm a little more active there. You can also hear me at Checkpoint XP. If you go to twitch.tv/checkpointxp on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I help with the news. You can also see me at my other podcast at Not Your Player 2 through Checkpoint XP, where it's me and another female gamer talking all things girls and gaming and all that good stuff. So, check me out.
And I'm Foehamner on just YouTube.
Pupunoob, Pupu, and it'll be Twitter and YouTube. So yeah, this has been episode 154 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.